Welcome to Cycle Talk TV, brought to you by Cycle Talk magazine. This show is going to be all about the bikes, it's all about the riding, and it's all about the products. So we've toured the Western Chi Minh Trail, we've ridden lots of different bikes, from adventure bikes, motocross bikes and road bikes, and we've also got some picks of the weeks, some great new products at the end of this show. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome to Cycle Talk TV. I'm Chris Pickett and I'm the editor of Cycle Talk magazine. Now 15 years ago we had the Yamaha R6, the very first model, on our first cover, and today we're going to look at the 2014 model. Now there's a reason why this bike's been so popular over the years. It's the first choice for the majority of budding super sport and super stock 600 riders, and there's a reason for this. Most people find when they come off another brand of super sport style bike and onto the R6, they just seem to go quicker. Now I've spent some time with the 2014 R6 and I've come away very impressed. I've always been impressed with the R6 generally anyway. They've been a great track bike and I've spent plenty of time on the track with them, but this thing as a road bike is still a very good machine. Even though the R6 is a full-on sports bike and race winner, it will cope with touring, commuting, obviously sports riding. As long as you can cope with the riding position, which is very aggressive, and the luggage space, which there's really none, and also the pillion position, which is an afterthought at best.
Hi, I'm Todd Reed and today we're out with the Kawasaki 2014 KX450 for Cycle Talk TV, and we're going to have a ride and see what the 2014 bike's all about. Over the past few seasons, the KX450 has undergone extensive testing and development. We've seen the addition of the pneumatic spring fork, a new chassis, and a very aggressively styled motor over the past few seasons. This bike has been very competitive on the racetrack. 22 Motorsports has selected this bike with Chad Reed, and even Ryan Villapoto. He's been racking up championships on this bike. It's proved to be extremely successful. Earlier on we tried the launch control and did some race starts. It's a really effective feature on the KX450. It calms down the revs when you're holding it wide open out of the gate, and then it actually comes off when you hit third gear. So when you're giving it full aggression, under power once the gate drops, it's much more controllable and much more smooth power, and keeps that front wheel down and just traction all on the ground. So we've just finished testing the KX450. We've had a great day today. The bike's really fast, handles well, and it's a wonderful package to ride or race at any level. Some of the things we really liked about the bike was its power. It's a really fast engine, it runs really well, it's got plenty of power right throughout the range, and it certainly won't leave anyone unimpressed. Other good things included the nice rental handlebars. They're a nice comfortable bend, the cockpit's nice and comfortable. The suspension was quite good. It's got a good setup. The forks are valved well and are sprung bang on for most people. We played a little bit but didn't have to venture far from the standard setting. It was a really good balance. The rear shock works well. Might need a little bit of fine tuning for some of the more faster aggressive guys, but it's certainly not far off the mark at all. Some of the things we weren't as crash hard on were the front brake. We thought could have been a little stronger. Some of the competition have a little bit better brakes, but that being said, it's not hard to upgrade the front brake. We would have liked to see some maybe bigger foot pegs, but once again, kind of personal preference. It's a pretty minor thing in the grand scheme of it. When you've got such a strong engine and good handling bike that is really class leading stuff, it's hard to look past the KX450. Today we also tested the 2014 KX85 with some of our junior riders. We had a great time on the bike and look for a feature of it in Cycle Talk coming up soon in our print edition and iPad magazine.
Cycle Talk's been on the road in Vietnam with Vietnam Motorbike Tours touring the Western Ho Chi Minh Trail. Here we are in Hoi An, which is just up the road from Da Nang, where you can fly into from a domestic flight into Vietnam. It's in central Vietnam on the coast, beach resort, and this is the sort of accommodation you can expect to find around here. Beautiful pools, lovely rooms, great food, cheap drinks. Great place to have a holiday. Now, the best way to see Vietnam is on a motorcycle. We're here with Vietnam Motorbike Tours. They're going to take us up into the mountains tomorrow. We're going to do the Western Ho Chi Minh Trail. Hope you enjoy what you see on Cycle Talk TV.
Thanks, Nigel. Now, even though the war is a bit of ancient history here, the locals still see it as a bit of a way to bring tourism in. And for a lot of Australian tourists, the war still is something they want to see about. And one famous place we're going to visit is Khe Sanh. Okay, we're here at Khe Sanh on our Vietnamese motorcycle tour. Most Australian viewers would recognise the name from the Cold Chisel song. And it's a site of an American air base during the war, massive base, and it's now a military museum. And interesting for the point that the museum shows what happened here, but it's not all one-sided. And thousands of soldiers died on both sides. It's a really interesting place, and also interesting for the point that most of the military vehicles on display here are American.
Cycle Talk TV coming to you from New Zealand, where we've been at the launch of the new VStrom 1000 from Suzuki. Now, this bike replaces the old VStrom 1000. A lot of markets around the world have been dropped a number of years ago due to emission laws, but in Australia managed to keep the old one around until now. Now, this new bike, it's been completely reworked. Similar V-twin liquid-cooled engine. It's got about 100 horsepower. The new features include traction control, 2 levels, you can switch it off as well, plus the ABS, which is standard. Now, a lot of fun, this motorcycle. With only 100 horsepower, it's nowhere near the top of the charts for an adventure bike, and it's not designed for serious off-road use. Gravel roads, great. A lot of fun on gravel roads. We had a great time riding some dirt today, but it's not a full-on desert crossing machine unless you're pretty handy in the dirt. So it only comes with mag wheels, no option for spokes, but as a road bike, as a touring machine, fantastic. You can buy all the boxes, panniers, and lots of other accessories to make it a better touring bike. It's a lot of fun in that mode, good for carrying a passenger. You have an awful lot of fun on the new VStrom 1000. Check it out.
Well, we're on a section of the Ho Chi Minh Trail, or the Western Ho Chi Minh Trail, which runs from Khe Sanh in the south up to Phong Nha in the north, which is part of the World Heritage Area. And this section here, you know, back in the Vietnam War was all dirt, and it's what the track that Ho Chi Minh organised his people to supply his troops further down. And the American Army really tried to bomb the hell out of it. And now the road, the distance is around about 260 k's, and there's something like 7,000 corners in it. And if you're going straight for more than 300 or 400 metres, you're doing really well. And the road is one of the most enjoyable rides I've ever had in my life. The scenery is unbelievable. You go everything from this sort of vista here through the middle of the jungle, mountain peaks, a whole lot. And I'll tell you what, if you ever get the chance, come and do it.
Vietnam motorbike tours took us to many places along the way, including museums and other places of interest. Obviously, there was lots of the military, which we all loved, and we also were fascinated by the amount of kids who would come out and wave at the Westerners on the big motorcycles.
Well, we've basically finished our week-long tour of the Western Ho Chi Minh Trail with Vietnam Motorbike Tours. We're at the old imperial city of Hue, which is situated about halfway up the coast of Vietnam, right on the South China Sea. And it's a fantastic city full of history. And one thing about this whole trip, the Vietnamese people are really friendly, it's a great culture, the food's fantastic, the roads have been unbelievable, and it's one of the best trips I've ever done. I really think if you want some adventure and you want to sample some other cultures and you want to do it on a motorcycle, get to Vietnam on a Vietnam Motorbike Tours.
Forget the rest, ride with the best, mate.
In this part of Cycle Talk TV, we have Pics of the Week. Normally we'll have more than one, but for our pilot episode, you've just got me. Today I'm going to talk about the Alpinestars Toucan Adventure Touring Boot. Now this boot is a little bit of a compromise in some ways. It's designed to be comfortable all day, as any touring boot should be, but it's also designed to give you the protection of a enduro or off-road boot. Not a full-on motocross boot by any stretch of the imagination. It's nowhere near that heavy, nowhere near that stiff, and that's why you can wear it all day and feel comfortable even when you jump off the bike and go for a walk. Now it has got quite a stiff sole, which is very important for adventure bike riding because you want to have that stiffness when you're standing up, otherwise your feet will get very, very sore, very uncomfortable. It's also got a lot of protection. There's a lot of panels and parts to keep the elements away if you do have a spill, or even if you have to stick your feet out into the soft sand to keep the bike upright, which happens occasionally trail riding and adventure bike riding. Two strong buckles to hold it all fastened together, plus Velcro. The buckles are aluminium and they're also replaceable. $499 for the Toucan Adventure boot. It's at the top end of the market, but it's also very well built. These boots have been in use for over a year, and they've been really good. Gore-Tex lined, so it keeps the water out, which is great, again, in most conditions, although if you're in really hot, steamy conditions like I was in Cambodia, tends to make your feet a little bit warmer than maybe you'd really like, but it's still probably better than having all the water rushing in from creek crossings, which makes your feet stinky and smelly and uncomfortable. Overall, great boot, highly recommended. Check them out at Alpinestars Stockists, Australia-wide.